Alright guys, welcome back to the world that is Netrunner. I'm Steven.
And I'm Robert.
And we're going to be talking about this game as it's going on. This is a game that took place at the Covenant Store, one of our weekly tournaments. Always a good place to try out some new decks, try out some concepts, and actually see some really good Netrunner being played. You have here a game against our own Tim Bunn versus Grant Huddleston, who is an excellent player, has proven himself by winning these tournaments, usually 8 to 12 men tournaments, pretty consistently, and that's always an impressive feat. So he's playing Noise, and Tim over here is playing Jinteki, which he's seen a lot of success with, much, I think, contrary to what a lot of people feel is actually possible with Jinteki. He's actually, Tim does an excellent job with him, and never seems to have any problems.
That's right, yeah. Jinteki's kind of weird just because it has that odd ice. It always seems under strength, under potent, and it really is, but the agenda rather makes up for it in a lot of different ways, so it kind of balances out.
Yeah, as Tim has described, people look at Jinteki often and think, my role is to flatline the runner. And in fact, that's actually contrary to what Jinteki actually will do, because I think a lot of people will be frustrated whenever it's like, well, a good runner isn't running into my traps, they're not hitting my neural katanas, they're breaking right through everything. That's fine, in Tim's words. Jinteki slows you down because you go down to one card or something. You may have scored an agenda, but now you're at 0 or 1 cards. You've got to spend at least a turn drawn back up, or you risk another fetal AI that's going to kill you, or a snare that's going to kill you. So it's a lot about just slowing the runner down more than anything. So Tim starts out 3 pieces of ice. Pretty impressive there. Grant opens with a Diesel on Noise over here, so the first splash that we've seen. And he's going to also play a Sure Gamble, so 2 pretty standard economy cards. Not a big fan of Diesel myself, but it kind of depends on the deck at the same time. So Sure Gamble and Diesel, and we're going to look at 2 more actions here from Grant. And it's a Noise deck, so that could mean a lot of things these days, actually, as far as what this deck is going to try to do. It could be, try to nuke Archives really heavy and then do a big Crypsis run until the end. Or it could be the way I like to run Noise, which is just play good breakers and have 3 central servers to pull agendas from.
Cyber Feeder.
Yeah, play a Cyber Feeder there. 1 recurring credit for installing viruses or using Icebreakers, which is just money for Noise. And he's going to gain a credit as his last action here.
That's right. And kind of feeding off your comments about discarding cards, it's really just a time thing, like you said. But also, you can't discount the advantages of forcing your opponent to lose things that they might have been saving for next turn, subsequent turns, or a critical run when the moment was right, if they're holding on to that stim hack, any number of things. So if you are just depriving them of tools and buying time at the same time, it's a win-win.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming back over to Tim, he hits Archives yet again, which is kind of interesting. It's Archives and R&D are kind of on the same note here, so I imagine he'll probably do the same kind of ice for R&D, unless it's maybe a pop-up window or some kind of just little thing that you're wanting Noise to run through. Going back over, looks like he gains a couple credits for his last actions as well. Going back over to Grant, we got a special order. He's going to search for an Icebreaker. And this will determine a lot of what this deck is actually going to be doing. If we see an efficient one like a Gordian, no, going to go with a Mimic. So this is actually excellent against Jinteki because you can break through neural katanas for so cheap. It's unbelievable. And that really gets rid of one of their major threats here.
It's true. It's true.
7 credits to 6, and we had a point.
A point run?
It could be a run, or it could just be a taunt.
I'm more familiar with the chop runs, so the point one.
I think Grant's a pointer. Yeah.
Okay.
He's gonna let that special order resolve. I imagine he's gonna play the Icebreaker actually before he. So he's gonna play it here, and it doesn't cost terribly much.
Yeah, it's very cheap.
And we're gonna run R&D here. Taking a look, it's an ice wall.
Static.
Sorry. End the run, Thud. Where's my Corroder?
It's probably somewhere in his deck.
Now, a lot of time, against anyone but Jinteki, generally you're going to make that run before you go search for your Icebreaker, but in case it was an Neural Katana, Grant didn't want to take the chance of losing 3 cards out of hand. Probably not a bad idea here. Going back over to Tim, he throws down a remote, and what else did he do over there? Looks like he gained some credits for sure after resing that wall of static. Remote wall of static. Grant's over here. He's going to draw a couple cards.
Doing some things.
Looking for cards. And as Anarch, it always pains me to draw because usually I'm hiding Wildside in the deck somewhere and
Do you consistently run Wildside?
Yeah, pretty consistently, yeah.
So here's a question. He's going to trash that pad? No,
Pad
he's not running. He's
campaign
just...
says no.
Was he running? Yeah, he did run.
Yeah, he just ran. Take a look.
That's interesting. I'm a big proponent of the pad trash, but a lot of people aren't. They don't see it as being worthwhile because you are investing a lot of credits into the trash early on in the game, when the credits could, more often than not, be used to things you'd rather use them for. Whether or not it's a better use of those resources all depends on how long that game runs.
Absolutely. So Grant dropped the Armitage. Going back to Tim, he has the draw. He's going to play yet another remote server.
I didn't see what it was. That hand cam.
I know. And he's going to gain a credit to seal it off here.
That's right. Drawn a card for Grant.
Grant's going to draw. He's going to take some credits off Armitage there.
Do some busting.
Do some work. Some hard work.
That's right.
Noise doesn't strike me for much of a, he's not a working man.
I really don't know.
Run HQ
well
here, another wall of static.
Static everywhere. Shh, can't get through that.
So really no Jinteki tricks.
And a gamble.
Just walls, and then another sure gamble.
Tim's
going to res yet another pad campaign.
He's swimming in it. He's going to be getting a lot of credits now. Now, at this point, would you say that there's any more incentive to trash pad campaigns when there's more of them? Or is it just kind of a linear rather than exponential effect here?
I don't know. I don't know.
I think it gets way worse when they have more free credits coming in. It gets nasty.
It does get nasty. I mean, it definitely compounds upon itself.
So he just got some credits by the looks of it.
Yeah, got some credits off Armitage. And what else is Grant going to be up to here?
We'll see.
2 walls of static. Definitely going to be looking for a corroder here, no doubt.
Yep.
And there's a medium.
Yep.
Install a virus. He's going to trash that card for Noise's pretty incredible ability here. Some people argue that Wizard isn't bad. He's just so not as good as Noise, which is hard to argue with because that ability has got to be probably the best of any runner right now.
Do you think his ability is good enough where it's going to affect card design going into the future?
Yeah.
Or the types of cards that
they're just going to have to be careful with viruses or maybe just building other runners up. But when you look at that kind of an ability compared to some other runners, like Wizard is a great example. It may make them...
Looks like we had a trash.
Yeah, we did. Got rid of 1 pad.
Yay!
And we're going to install, or at least start another remote server.
And then, what comes next? The Fetal AI will be installed.
He's looking. He's got a Nisei and a Fetal and a Snare in hand. He's going to take a look here.
But he installed more ice.
Install an R&D.
And then what? Get some money.
Get some money. All right. No problem.
Back over, drawing some cards.
Back over to Grant. Draws an emergency shutdown. Not really going to help him terribly much right now. He's going to draw again. Looking for a Corroder. Gets a Parasite instead. That's a quick fix, but not exactly what you want.
And more code busting? Looks like.
Yeah, do some more work here for Armitage.
I wonder how many codes they actually need busting.
Probably, it seems like a lot. I don't know.
It seems like all the runners are doing it.
I don't know what the I don't know what the point of busting is, but I like that it's there. And we're gonna play a Parasite on R&D.
Nice.
So Grant's taking what I think is probably a smart route against Jinteki. Going to R&D, the hand's kind of weird against Jinteki. They'll hold snares in there, so they actually have more control over bad things being in that server than they do over R&D.
That's right.
You might hit a snare anyway, but medium on R&D here is scary against Jinteki every time because you could hit a lot of stuff that you don't really want to hit. You have to decide how many cards you access before you do the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if you access a bunch of nasty stuff, it is an easy way to be flatlined.
3 snares. Woo!
Hello.
Can you imagine?
I can imagine. We'll see if Jinteki has enough money to pay him off.
Probably, maybe.
Not right now, not
No,
for sure.
Not yet. Man, that Fetal AI, they're so scary to me.
They're great.
What is that?
The
Can't
trick
tell.
is to make Jinteki score them.
What'd he draw?
That looks like a Neural Katana to me. And Grant's sitting on a pretty decent stack of 5, looking for some breakers for sure. Tim goes up to 9 credits here, and going back to Grant, first action I believe he'll draw. It seems to be the trend here, which he does. Drew into another Cyber Feeder. So he's really searching for either a special order, corroder, something to get through. This has given Tim a lot of time to develop.
Needs a good barrier breaker. And now...
As we said, though, the key to beating Jinteki is to force them to score their own agendas.
Yeah,
that
that's a
is
good
truly
point.
the key. It
That
takes a lot of time, a lot of money, and they generally are not fruitful once scored unless it's an Issei. So take a look.
Yeah. I can't imagine. I'm used to playing HB, but if I were to spend 5 developments to get a fetal AI for 2 points with no benefit, I would just not enjoy that.
It's not great.
But it's the risk you take playing Jinteki. It's worth it, I think. So, let's see.
Pad campaign is paying off still.
Just that trickle.
10 to 3 is a good variant.
Install. What was it?
I gotta check his hand. I think it was an Issei.
Very nice.
Install, develop, and
new parasite
gonna pass
token.
it on over.
He's a running.
He's running the remote.
Oh,
it's
man.
a Heimdall.
It's a Heimey.
Surprisey.
Yeah, would not expect that, but there it is.
Talk about needing a barrier breaker here.
Yeah. Barrier breaker in, please.
I think he's going to break through the whole thing, yep.
Holy smokes.
That is the problem with Heimdall.
Yes, it's a big problem. And what was that he got discarded?
That was a demolition run, yeah.
Nice.
I don't like... I actually would disagree with Tim on Heimdall in Jinteki. I know he likes it. I know why he likes it, and he would know better than me. But I usually run first or second turn against Jinteki anyway, so it just allows you to use those actions, whereas normally you wouldn't. Because I'm worried about tags from snares, I'm worried about brain damage that I have to draw back up from in case there's a neural EMP or something, so there's a good reason to run early on Jinteki for sure.
That's right. I didn't see it went down, but...
Plays another one down? Who knows? Is that the real agenda? I don't think it's an agenda.
Still in his hand. Unless he drew another one. I haven't been able to track it very well.
As far as I know, I don't think Tim ever plays a snare face down.
Yeah,
that's a good reason to do it, though.
Aha!
Gonna trash melange. And that's Grant's turn.
So there
takes care of a wall of static.
Finally, maybe he can get into R&D. Watch it be another wall of static. Wouldn't that be funny?
Tim draws for the turn. We got 3 actions coming up here.
But what is he going to do? He's thinking...
Well, he's going to get his pad campaign credit first. Install remote and gain 2 credits.
Looked like he dropped a fetal, but I'm not sure.
That strikes me as what he would do here. Run R&D, not going to res.
Boom.
Looks like it's a Sunset, no, Edge of World.
Edge of World, very nice. Great one to get out of there.
Good trash. And he gets 1 for medium for that successful run. Going to do it again and get 2 this time.
I'm curious as to what that piece of ice is. Because he has plenty of money. I'm wondering why he's not rezzing it.
I would imagine that's a neural katana.
Okay.
Yeah. He can just get through it with Cyber Feeder.
Yep.
Tim doesn't want to lose the cash here. And I think he's deciding... Well, okay, he's not going to run then. He's going to draw a card instead. We got 2 actions left.
Let's see. Drew another Parasite. That'll be handy. Break down that wall of static on his hand if you are really feeling bold and daring.
Boom.
And he does.
There he goes. So he's playing yet another Parasite. He's going to pay for it with the Cyber Feeders. They're just money with noise.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Remarkable. And you'll see already that archive stack has grown quite a little bit. So I believe that's 3 cards over there now. 2 Parasites and a medium.
Yep.
That are going to cause some issues. Attempting to go and draw, and looks like a lot of agendas starting to show up. Not what Jinteki wants.
Hedge fund.
Hedge fund's always good to see. Breathe a little easier whenever you find the hedge fund, kind of like in real life.
But now he has a lot of money, and what is he going to do with all that money? Maybe rest some ice.
Pay for snares, certainly.
Yeah. Man, snares are crazy.
HQ is about to be infiltrated, that's for sure. After the Parasite does its work.
So he needs to start accruing. Man, how many agendas are in his hand? Is it 2?
There's at least 2. I think it's 3. Yeah, he's got 3 in there.
Yeah.
Private Security, Brain Trust, and Fetal.
That's a lot.
And a snare. That's not awful. And it looks like neural EMP or something of the sort.
Yeesh. Not sure. Not sure at all. But he has some hard choices to make. What would you do at this point? Would you try to empty out your hand if you think that the wall of static isn't going to make it?
I just don't know. And I really don't know what's down. Are we sure that he put the fetal down there? In the
I
remote?
don't think so, actually, because there's still one in his
I
hand.
see it in his hand, unless he drew one, but... so we're all kind of curious as to what it actually did on that remote server. I think Grant's got the tempo of this game right now, for sure. That early score on Nisei was a big deal.
Yeah.
And so he is going to trash whatever was there, which, against Noise, he's probably not trashing his own agenda there.
Yeah, no. Why would you want to?
So he gets a card down, and I think that one is actually the fetal. I saw the card fan there when he was going through. Getting some credits over there for Grant.
Nice.
Looks like he hit Armitage twice, drew a card. And what's that last action? Can't really run. Not against Heimdall.
Man. Tricky picture. Liberated accounts.
So tons of money here coming in. And now all that Grant needs is icebreakers.
That's all I need. Ice Ice Baby. Particularly a barrier breaker.
Yeah, we got the best one. Anarchs can definitely bring the pain to the barriers, but right now he's not seeing it. And one of the many advantages of Wildside, actually.
Seeing your icebreakers?
Yeah, you can you draw a lot. That's what happens. All right, so he's going to develop twice and play out a remote over here. You see the classic kind of Jinteki building a bit more horizontally than the other, I guess, factions or identities. Certainly HB and I think NBN as well like to kind of build a big server. HB will throw an Adonis in, get it scored, and then throw down some, not scored, but get it used, and then throw down an agenda there.
Yep.
Just make a massive server, whereas Jinteki plays it a bit more horizontal for sure. Because that thing next to Pad Campaign could be a Brain Trust.
It could be.
It could be a Fetal. They've got some very interesting agendas. They don't necessarily have to score. Just kind of want to slow you down so they can get the ones they want.
Yeah. And in terms of the risk assessment now, is it worth making that run on that remote with the 2 developments on it?
Oh, it's scary. Could be a June bug.
Yeah.
That's what you always got to think. Could be a June bug. Can you lose 4 cards here? Good question.
You don't want to, that's for sure.
You don't want to.
It still has that Parasite. I would totally think about playing that.
This is the beautiful
Except
thing.
you'd actually have to pay for it, too.
Yeah, I just don't know where to play the Parasite at this point.
Yeah.
You don't really want to work on the Heimdall at this point.
Yeah,
It's
that'd be
not-
too many turns.
Not worth it.
And then he's thinking, oh, Silver Duggar. No, it's still Grant.
He says, hey, I don't like those. Yeah, well, look at that.
Yeah, well, I can use my pointer finger better than you. Haha. Gotcha. And Grant would be correct in that case. He has a much crisper, clean index
It was a
finger.
crisp point, for sure. I'm surprised Grant hasn't hit R&D yet again.
Yeah. There's just that one
suppose
piece of
it's a
ice
bit
that he
of
doesn't
risk
want to res.
assessment.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. He did go with the Parasite.
He does,
and
and he
Heimdall.
does it with the hand flare of, I had nothing else to do.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Kind of resigned to that.
Gets a card out of there. Maybe he can make an archives run, Maybe expose some ice, then parasite it. Who knows? So he's going to straight up score that Brain Trust over the remote server right next to Pad. So that paid off for Tim huge.
Nice.
Grant didn't go look at that remote. Maybe thinking it's a Pad campaign or even a Fetal, and decides to forego it.
The hand should be open.
Yeah. While the static is gone.
Drawing a card.
He just looks like another liberated accounts from Grant. Also got an Ice Carver. Well, he's got all of the setup and none of the breakers here.
Man, where is that wild side for Grant?
There's a Jin, so at least if he can't, he can go get Crypsis if he absolutely has to. I don't know if he's going to want to here. It doesn't look like the deck is particularly set up for Crypsis, but,
Yeah.
then again,
Who knows? You can
When-
run almost
when-
anything in any way these
when
days.
you need a breaker, you need a breaker.
That's right.
He's going to access 2 here. I can only imagine.
And then
Looks like pop-up window is the second
Yeah.
access there. Now, you haven't seen anything from R&D. Brain Trust was just scored. There's something down there on the Heimdall. Greatest chance of agendas here is probably in Tim's hand. I think Grant's probably making that calculation right now.
Yep.
That Brain Trust score was just a big deal. And he's maybe going to take a look at HQ. You've got to think, though, anytime you're playing against Jinteki, your head says it's all snares. It's all snares.
that's definitely what I think most of the time. It's really intimidating to have that in your head because it just It does too much damage.
Grant plays on an Ice Carver there, kind of off screen.
Off screen. It's just through all the transparency of the hood.
And Tim's going to score the Fetal AI. So
Boom.
that's kind of what you want, kind of not. Agenda, or the identities running triggers. It does a net damage there.
Mm-hmm. But man, if Grant had seen that wild side, if he's even running it sooner in this game.
So we're at 4 points to 2 here.
That's right.
He's got some wide open emergency shutdowns, which is kind of a bummer. He can really save those for maybe, Tim trying to get frisky in a remote server. Hopefully HQ stays open for Grant here. That's what he's hoping for. He sees the pop-up window. Looks like he's getting a brain trust.
Yep.
Nice R&D score here. And he's going to take the damage to see if he can get anything else.
Liberated is out.
And he doesn't. Okay.
Too bad.
So we got a tie game here at 4-4.
That's right. It's neck and neck. And Tim does a really good job of only running 2-point agendas, so this means that Grant is going to have to score at least 2 more to win this game.
At least 2 more, yeah.
Which is a really
And Tim's going to do the
good
same
advantage.
thing. That's kind of a
Yeah, that's true.
interesting.
That's true. It cuts both ways.
Certainly. So that medium is really actually paying off here quite heavily.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
a good little play for Grant. Tim's servers are pretty haggard at this point, but Jinteki kind of just do that,
Mm-hmm. So he just got his pop-up window.
He's gonna install over what I'm assuming is an Earl Katana.
Yeah, just get it out of there.
Don't want to pay that extra credit for nothing. And what else are we going to do here? We're going to install another piece of ice over HQ. And then we're going to precog to look at the top 5 of R&D. Arrange them in any order. Looks like I see a snare, which he put on top there. Also got an ice wall, toll booth, or it could be an archer. I don't think it's an archer. It should be an ice wall.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Diesel again for Grant, man. He is just trying to draw into. There's a data sucker and a corroder. And a imp. That's what he needed about 5 turns ago.
Yeah. Jeez.
So probably pretty relieved here.
Yep. You can start doing some stuff.
They are in the deck, although at this point, the barriers are kind of gone.
Yeah, it's true.
That's the sign of a good deck. If you don't draw into your icebreakers, you have other options to get into these servers. Most cards should be helping you. I mean, all cards should be helping you infiltrate a server, whether it's standard through icebreakers or through some other means.
That's right.
Now he installs the gen. I think Grant feels like he's got some opportunities here to start putting the pressure on. Installs the imp. Trash another card. And he's sitting at 4 agenda points here, so he's probably looking at an archives run FTW.
Whoa, toll booth.
And the toll booth is going to slow him down here, so
That
3
is
credits right off the top.
Such a juicy piece of ice.
I don't know of any corp deck here that doesn't splash toll booth, to be honest.
Or anywhere. How can you not? It's so good. I'm a fan.
I just don't play everywhere, so I don't know.
Ooh.
If only I could.
Where would you play? France.
Yeah, probably France. Or FFG HQ.
Those French netrunners are pretty slick from what I hear.
We haven't seen new ice on archives for a while. I think Grant needs to maybe search out a Crypsis and go here, or play the Corroder and go.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about much else except a toll booth, which I don't think Tim's going to be able to res by the time it comes back around, so...
Yeah, I wouldn't expect so. Now, do you think Tim is going to do anything to try to save that Heimdall?
No.
I'm just going to let it go.
No.
Let her go.
I mean, he has good reason to clear all virus counters anyway, so maybe he will.
Yep.
Grant's going to run HQ yet again. Hey, it's a pop-up window.
Yeah, there's a lot of virus counters right now. That would be an attractive turn for me, for sure. 7 on the board.
Tim gets a credit, Grant loses a credit, and we see a toll booth, which he's, I'm sure, going to trash with him. Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
No.
He does not.
Surprising. Very surprising.
Shut down that toll booth.
Nice.
And this could be it. Remember, Tim has organized his R&D with precog, so Grant would be able to get into basically past what Tim has planned on seeing.
That's right. This could be a very potent turn, but we'll see. We'll see. Man, those emergency shutdowns are just Awesome.
Yeah. And I think this is ultimately smart for Grant. He's going to go for the archives. Right?
Nice.
Okay.
So a pop-up?
Looks like a chum there.
No, it is a chum. You're right, yeah.
And he can't break the chum, which puts a lot of pressure on this next one. Man, who knows what could be back there. If that's like a data mine or something, that could happen, and that could be an issue for Grant. I think he has to jack out here. How many cards do you have in hand? I think he's got 4. Yeah, that could be a huge issue for him.
Yeah, it could.
He's going to go ahead and jack out and just draw a card.
Wow.
I think that's smart. Chum can do a lot of work in these Jinteki decks.
Yep.
Especially whenever you just don't have your Code Gate Breaker out. Again, a Crypsis here would do a lot for Grant.
Be handy dandy.
And looks like Tim's sitting on a Fetal, a Private Security Force, and a Toll Booth. Also has a Snare in there. And he knows he's got to score some points, but he really just has no server set up to do that.
Yeah. And the money's looking dry, too. He's got to do something about that, especially if he wants to protect R&D.
And he's going to gain a credit, gain 2 credits. And does he put a Toll Booth over that Heimdall, maybe?
Or toll booth over that toll booth. What?
Yeah, unheard of.
Unprecedented. That would not happen. But he's going to need a stable remote if he's going to start scoring anything.
He does. And this is ultimately the problem that sometimes Jinteki run into. He's just going to gain credits here.
Not a bad decision on the whole. But that pop-up window is not a good defense whatsoever.
Yeah, he knew he needed to get to 8 to hit that toll booth to prevent the R&D run. He probably just has to hope that Grant doesn't play a breaker or something to get through to archives, but I don't see how you don't search for Crypsis here and make the run.
Yeah. But maybe he's thinking something. So, Data Sucker.
Data Sucker. He does have liberated account, so he's got the cash to really...
It's true. Is Toll Booth coming back up? Place your bets. He's thinking about it. We all know what it is.
You can't
he is
take
not.
the chance.
Wow.
4 cards, you just can't take the chance.
Wow, no res.
He's going to need 2 agendas here to score it and win the game.
So he's thinking. Tim knows the order of some of these from his precog still.
I think... Is he still at 5? I think he...
Did he get through? I thought he had
It's
like
close.
1 or 2 left.
It's close. Gonna trash the Hadrians.
Nice.
And no cards.
No cards. And man, look at those
And I think
virus counters.
It looks like Grant only chose to access maybe 3 cards there, which is sometimes a smart thing to do.
It's very safe for sure. Safe bet.
Archive's still looking tasty, but you know the thing is there really is no hurry to make the archives run. You know you have at least a turn after Tim scores his 3rd agenda. If you assume he can't score a 3-point agenda, which I think Grant by this point probably knows that he's only got 2 pointers in there. And so there's really no pressure.
And we had, I don't know, what was that gesture for?
Was
that
pointing.
a run? Or
it's like, hey, look over there.
He's a Jedi.
More Armored Kobas, and Grant's starting to build the credits here. He's starting to make a showing like he is going to make some kind of a run. Going to play the Yogg, so he's got the Sweet out. Chose not to go with Universal Crypsis, instead going with Yogg, which can break Chum for free.
Nice.
So Chum gets broken.
Time to see
where
what's
are we going
in
here?
R&D. Not R&D. Archives, excuse me.
And
Pop-up window.
Pop-up window.
Wow.
Would have been a hilarious Chum.
That's crazy.
All right, and...
Anything? Oh, man, there's one. But there's a 2. That's it.
And that should be it.
So, there it is.
There you have it.
8 points scored on that final run. Man, noise is crazy like that.
How about that? It's so easy. You just open up. Basically, you have 2 sources of agendas, or 2 R&Ds, if you will. Maybe even better than 2 R&Ds. So this is the power of noise. Didn't even really run it very fast.
No.
Wasn't supremely efficient, but just played a very careful game. Didn't run where he didn't need to, and made it happen.
Yeah, very destabilizing for the Corp. It's hard to do much about that.
So game 2 is on the way for this. You can see the epic conclusion. And if you'd like to support what we're doing here at Team Covenant, we do have a web store and a retail store if you're in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So head on over to teamcovenant.com/store where there are identity packs. It's cool for Netrunner players, as well as some singles.
Data packs, and even
packs.
the Create and Control expansion on pre-order.
Yeah, which is going to blow this game up.
It's going to blow it up.
It's very cool. And if you guys have any questions or if you ever just want to chat with us, feel free to send an email, support@teamcovenant.com. And if you have any questions about any of our products or anything that we're doing, we'd love to hear from you.
All right, thanks so much, guys.
Thanks for watching.